expert analysis. So Brendan and Mike sharing the microphone over there. So Brendan, what are the keys to the second half, do you think, if you're Lockport and obviously you want to get back in this game?
Yeah, definitely. They want to get back as fast as they can. But as we saw in the first half, their offense hasn't done really much. The defense has stopped them clearly. But I think for the Griffins, keep it simple and you keep doing what you're doing. Small passes, then go to the big pass and mix in the run like the spread offense we were talking about.
How about you, Mike? What do you think the Griffins did well in the first half?
I think mostly the main thing they did well is defense, being 17-0. I mean, offense helps too, but I think their main aspect was defense.
Well, obviously the defense pitching the shutout, which is great. Looking forward to that and seeing the continued success of Coach Zavoner's defense. But, against a Lockport team that's supposed to be improved, to be able to go out and put 17 points on the board. Hopefully we continue to do that in the second half. And we got a long ways to go if we're going to reach that mid-40s to upper 40s level that we've been at the first 2 weeks of the season.
Hey, but as we've seen over the past years, the Griffins, they really start trucking it starting in the second half.
Well, one thing that the Griffins are going to have to strike a balance for all year long is once you get that lead, whether it's 25, 28, 30 points, how long do you really want to keep those starters in there? It's great to run up, the score. I should say run up the score, but it's great to put up those big numbers and to see the stats at the end of the game. But, they've got such great talent, and it'd be a shame if, obviously, something were to happen late in the game.
Yeah, you don't want to leave your starters in for the whole game. I mean, these guys on the sidelines, they work as hard as the starters do, and they deserve a shot to play.
Well, absolutely, and I think one of the nice things is that over the years, when we have had an opportunity to get our younger guys in, we've done that, and that's prepared them for, when their time came, whether it was later in the season, maybe due to an injury, or if it was the next season when they were a senior, whatever the case may be.
Thank you.
So right now, the special teams working on the punting and the kicking, and of course Lockport has a lot to talk about, so they're gathered right now. Lincoln Way, same thing, having a little pre-half pep talks. Hard to tell which coach is in the middle there, but could be anyone. Could be Coach Frana, Coach Lokang. See Coach Z is making his way out, gesturing for his team to come for a few final words of inspiration.
Two teams breaking apart now. I think they're ready for some football.
One of the things that I love watching about our defense is when the defense comes off the field, Coach Frana, Coach Z, they gather them all, they sit down in the bleacher seats, and they go over that series. And they're not even watching what's going on offense. Coach Z is obviously the head coach, but he's got such confidence in Coach Palistar in the offense that he's just making adjustments and doing what he needs to do.
Yeah. I also asked Kyle Langendorfer earlier today, have the players and coaches done anything different to prepare for Lockport? He said he just focused this week because this starts conference play. And I guess for him and for everybody on this team, conference play is really what you got to focus on more than playing schools like Dunbar and Edwardsville.
Yeah, the state stuff will take care of itself. And to a certain extent, some of that is out of their hands. The one thing that you do control is your performance in the conference. And only one team is going to win a state championship.
That's true.
Okay, but a lot of teams win their conference championship. So first and foremost, you want to be able to say that you were a conference champion. Okay, and then any championships you win beyond that, well, that's great. I mean, that's the ultimate goal.
And we can feel the rumbling beneath our feet. Will to kick off, and another great kick by Will using that big soccer leg, and the Porters will return it, breaking some tackles. Griffins just can't get a hold on him. Maybe he's a little slippery, but finally bringing him down.
Great run back, broke a lot of tackles, stayed on his feet, but ultimately still just gets out to the 20-yard line, which is essentially where they would have been if it were a touchback. So maybe just beyond, give him the 21 and a half, 22-yard line.
And now we'll see if the Griffins still have that defense that they displayed in the first half.
Well, Lockport obviously has to make some adjustments. Not really sure, what they have at their disposal there, what they can do, how they can switch things up. But certainly the shutout in the first half is not going to get it done tonight.
Right, and the D-line trying to add more pressure here. They're outnumbered this time, from Lockport, but that doesn't take him from getting past him. A flag down. What will it be? But nice tackles by the Griffins anyways.
Well, usually on that part of the field, you're looking at a hold. I didn't see it, but Griffins seem to think it's on Lockport.
Well, let's see here. Lockport's moving back.
Well, certainly that's not what they had in mind on their first offensive play of the second half.
It'll be holding on Lockport. So you're right, it was a holding call.
Well, I know Winkler in the first half, I saw his stats. He was something along the lines of 12 for 15, something like that. He had about 200 yards.
It's
he
unbelievable.
Had a couple of touchdown passes. So he's been throwing for about 200 yards a game, so he matches that just in the first half, and we'll see how long he ends up staying in this game. But he's certainly on pace to have huge numbers at the end of the night.
Unbelievable by Blake Winker. No interceptions and just completing passes like he was born to do it.
Yeah, I think right now he's at 9 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. The yards piling up, completion percentage up higher this week. That was the one area where you could say we could probably do a little bit better. He was at 55% coming into this thing. Stark has had a big game. Robertson, 60 yards in the first half. Yancey, mid-80s in the first half, each with a touchdown. Stark with the big reception, some big runs. A key recovered fumble. Okay, contributions everywhere.
Definitely. And as Mike was talking about, also with the defense.
Barely allowing a yard by the Porter's running back.
Yeah, big pile up around the 15-yard line. We've been seeing a lot of that tonight. So, do you think that if the Griffins score maybe 2 more touchdowns, they'll start bringing the backups in, Mike?
I wouldn't yet. Knowing based on high school leagues, 17 points isn't really a good lead when most games get up in the 40s.
I think it's safe to say that the fourth quarter will probably be for that second wave, unless Lockport makes things interesting. But if the Griffins can score again, if they're up 24-0 going in the fourth, that's probably about the time when you start to think about pulling the starters.
Right. Under pressure, he's sacked!
There's that defense that I was mentioning earlier.
Joel Magrum gets the sack. The star football and basketball player gets it done here.
Well, at 6'5", 210 pounds, he is a load, and obviously we know that from watching him play basketball. Starting center as a junior last year, so excited to see him on the court. But right now, excited to see him in the backfield making tackles.
Yeah, definitely. And in the near future, we'll be seeing Jay Yancey and Joel Magrum trading in the football jerseys for basketball. They'll be shooting threes. At least Jay Yancey will, and Joel Magrum will be forcing the paint. Punt will go out of bounds.
Well, I hope we don't see him sporting those basketball uniforms until, let's see, the state championship is usually the weekend after Thanksgiving, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So I know Coach Kalimas would like to see him a little earlier than that because basketball season starts in early November, but I'm sure he'll understand if we're playing for a state championship.
Hope so.
Of course, Coach Kalimas operates the scoreboard during the varsity football games. Over the years, he's complained that he's developing very sensitive fingers because those buttons are very difficult to push.
Oh, really?
Yes. Not really, actually. I made that up.
Oh. Hey, maybe it'll develop over time. Maybe you just jinked him.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick my head in next door and let him know that I've been commenting on his delicate fingers. He's probably not gonna be real happy about that.
Whoa, well. Dan Galligan is on assignment. Mike, who do you think has been the standout for the defense so far this game? As you mentioned, the defense has been doing so well.
Probably just Joel Magrum.
Joel Magrum?
Forcing the quarterback to make quick throws to the running and just stopping the running.
Fantastic pass. JJ tiptoeing down the sideline makes the two-handed grab right around the 12-yard line. Beautiful pass from Winkler and JJ. You know, who we thought would probably be Winkler's favorite target, but I think right now Yancey and he have a very strong connection. just because JJ hasn't played the first 2 games. But he's sort of showing Wink that, hey, don't forget about me now, because he's got about 85, 90 yards receiving in just the first couple minutes of the third quarter here.
Just unbelievable offense. I mean, the first game we broadcast is the game that we want to see, and this is just great. Well, we'll be in the red zone here. Winkler will be under center instead of the shotgun this time. Man moving to his right. That's Tyler Stark moving in. Gets to around the 9-yard line until he was tackled.
Well, Stark has been great around the goal line. He has a handful of touchdowns here. I want to say he's got about 6. Yeah, he had 6 going into the game. So, obviously, he's the guy when it comes to running the ball around the goal line. Yancey has 6 as I believe after tonight right now he's got 6. So between the 2 of them, a pretty powerful run-pass combo down there.
Mike, we've seen tonight that in the red zone the Griffins will mix the run and pass. What do you think's going to happen here?
I'm predicting a run up the middle.
And you're right. And it'll be a touchdown for your Griffin. You called it, Mike Deacon.
Who that was, but a nice little run, a nifty run, getting into the end zone. That'll make it 23-0. Will out for the extra point. And right now, you know, we're at a point now where we expect the Griffins to score a touchdown. It's not even that exciting because they spoil us with touchdowns.
Definitely. Will try to make the extra point here with Blake Anders as his holder. Place and kick, and will make the extra point. 24-0 with 7:38 to go in the third quarter.
23 yards, 2 minutes and 13 seconds. Capped off by a Blake Anders 5-yard
Excellent
run.
drive by the Griffins.
That's what you gotta do, just to run past combo. That's what you gotta do, just to run past combo. It always works.
Definitely.
Especially with targets like Stark behind Winkler as a running back, and Yancey and Robertson as the wideouts, and Winkler at the center of it all. The Griffins just have a stacked team this year, as always.
Yep, as always, and fans getting on their feet. Paul Babcock pumping up the crowd. Cowbells are heard. Here comes the kick. Another bomb by Will result in a touchback.
Well, that's the biggest kick. That's the biggest leg he's shown all night. He did have the other touchback earlier. His last kick was fielded at about the 3, so he didn't quite catch all of it. That one, though, fielded about 5 yards deep, I'd say.
Definitely. Well, touchback will start it. And the Griffins will go back on the stellar defense that they've showed so far.
We mentioned earlier the rule changes in the NFL where I guess they're kicking it from a little bit closer, obviously, so now the ball more likely to be a touchback or even go into the stands, as we've noticed a little bit in the preseason. Really hurts the Bears. Obviously a team that gets a lot of its offense or generates a lot of its offense from their special teams.
Yeah, and in the preseason game, I'm not sure who they played, but they actually denied that rule and kicked off from the 30.
Yeah, well, that was probably vetoed by the NFL, so you're not going to see that again. They felt like that was contrary to the spirit of the rule. But, you know, when Devin Hester and in the past also Danielle Manning, we still have Johnny Knox back there who can return kicks, and it's always been a big part of our game is the possibility of a big return. And even if there's not a big return, what does the other team do when they're worried about Devin Hester? They kick the ball out of bounds. They kick away from him. So for the most part, we're generally beginning with pretty good field position.
Good point. And now, Lockport will go on offense. Richie Guest in the backfield with those yellow shoes that you mentioned earlier.
They haven't helped him tonight.
No.
As a matter of fact, I think it helps our defense to keep track of him. You know, you'd think if you were a shifty running back, you'd kind of want to be obscured a little bit. I don't know that you'd want to draw more attention to yourself.
Yeah. So linebackers, when the ball is hiked, they just think in their head, yellow shoes, yellow shoes.
Well, Brendan, when you commit a crime, do you get all dressed up, or do you try to be incognito?
You try to be incognito.
Absolutely, same concept.
But I wouldn't
I
commit
don't want
a crime.
people knowing where I am if they're trying to rip my head off.
Exactly. But I guess it works for him if he scores touchdowns. Drops back to pass. Oh, boy!
My. That's not how you draw it up. Not an offense, anyways.
Oh, my gosh.
Here's that defense that I was referencing earlier. They're shining again.
A couple of guys in on the sack there. Several sacks this evening. The D-line doing really well. That's going to make Coach Frana happy.
Definitely, but man, I could feel that hit from up here. Boy.
Well, early in the game, it was Lockport who was actually sticking guys. It was Winkler taking a big hit. I think maybe Stark or Yancey at one point. There was a big hit all on that first drive. But now it's Lincoln Way who's really laying the lumber.
Punt will be picked up, and the Griffins will get some decent field position here.
Oh, better than decent. They're on the Lockport side of the field. I would imagine it won't take them long to take a quick shot at the end zone. And with 6 minutes left, should the Griffins score here, that might be the last you see of them in terms of their starters.
Right. Well, lots of football left this season, so don't be mad that they're getting taken out this game. Lots of broadcasts to go.
If you're getting pulled out in the third quarter, early fourth quarter, means that you've probably done something really, really good for a few quarters.
Winkler will drop back to pass, looking for a receiver. Here comes the rush! Getting away!
Look at him scramble in direct traffic.
Caught! Wow, what a pass by Blake Winkler, under pressure, finding a receiver and executing.
Well, not only did he do everything that you said he did, but he also directed his receivers as he was backtracking and scrambling. He's pointing, he's telling guys where he wants them, and then he delivers a strike on the run for a gain of almost 20 yards.
Got to make the coaches happy, I'll tell you what.
And don't forget to give some credit to Blake Anders for holding onto the ball after being sandwiched like that by the
Absolutely,
defenders.
good point. Some receivers don't have that knack of coming back to the ball when their quarterback's in trouble. He obviously does.
Oh, Tyler Stark brought down. Stark will keep the clock running now at 5:20. Griffin's coming out in the shotgun. 4 wide receivers up, including Tyler Stark in the backfield, so make that 5. Another bad toss from the center, but Winkler got a good pass off, just couldn't keep it, so 2 dropped ones.
Well, he makes all the tough ones, so let's not give him too hard a time for dropping that one.
Right.
Sometimes you're just a little bit too wide open.
Yeah, maybe as you mentioned, the ball is a little wet.
Well, I think that might have something to do with it. The other thing is, sometimes when the ball comes in that quickly and you're at a relatively short distance, it's a little harder to react in some ways than when you are able to follow the path for a while and you can get your hands exactly where you want them.
Stark in motion from Winkler's right to his left. Winkler dropped back. Toss up to the end zone! Oh, and it's off the hands. Can't get your receiver here. A little too far away for me to read.
Well, that was Yancey.
Yeah, that was Yancey.
It should have been caught. I mean, that's a straight-up drop. But there is a penalty flag. However, the penalty was against Lockport, so that should have been a 29-yard touchdown pass. I know Yancey's going to want that one back, but he's had some other good catches.
Winkler's shaking his arm. I don't know if that's a stinger or...
Well, I think it had to be on a different play. It certainly wasn't on that one. He didn't get touched to my knowledge, unless sometimes when you're following through, you can hit that hand or that thumb on the other guy's helmet or face mask. I didn't notice that, but yeah, he's shaking it. He's trying to regain feeling in it, so not sure if that's something he's been dealing with for a couple plays or not.
Well, if it has been dealing with it a couple plays, he's getting the passes off with a dead end.
Well, that was a great pass. It really should have been a 29-yard touchdown. You know Yancey would like to have that one back. That would have been his, I think, 8th touchdown pass of the season, which has got to be, you know, one of the leaders in the area here.
Just got a update. HF is leading Lincoln Way Central 14-0.
Excuse me, I misspoke. That would have been, I believe, his 5th touchdown pass of the season. Reception.
I form for the Griffins here. First time they showed this tonight. Hands off to the fullback. Gaining some ground. It takes a few Porters to bring him down.
Well, and whether or not that's a big part of your offense, if you show that a little bit, other teams have to prepare for it. So might as well get some of these other looks out there. Give the other team's scout team a little extra homework to do.
Winkler getting the play, running back and forth. It's the usual routine. I form again, so maybe they'll use this for a few more plays. Faking. Oh, it's intercepted. Winkler's first interception of the year. Going downfield. Griffins might not catch him. It's a race to the end zone. And Lockport will get their first points of the day.
Well, that's one way to get on the board. A 100 and I would say 6-yard interception return for a touchdown. As soon as that ball was picked, you could tell there was going to be very little chance to catch him. There was a little bit of a scrum in the middle of the field that probably prevented Winkler and anybody else from getting to the outside. And ultimately, Lockport able to run it back. So give them credit. Not a bad pass necessarily, but most of our success in the end zone has been in the corners. Okay, that time trying to work the middle of the end zone, and obviously just a little too much commotion there and an interception. That puts Lockport on the board, 24-6 here. There goes the shutout, although the defense does not give up the touchdown.
Well, Blake Winkler, even though that was an interception, just 3 games into the year, no interceptions until now. You got to give him credit for that.
Well, you feel for him because you know he was really priding himself on that touchdown interception ratio that he had going. I know he would have loved to have, you know, kept it at 0 for as long as humanly possible. And in reality, he should now have 10 touchdown passes and 0 interceptions because a touchdown pass was dropped just 2 plays earlier.
But, you know, things like that are going to happen. You can't prevent them. Everybody's human, even Blake Winkler.
Do you know who we were throwing to?
I couldn't tell.
Well, the Griffins will get to return a kickoff attempt for the first time since the start of the game. So we'll see what they got here.
Well, at the beginning of the game, it was Robertson and Yancey back there. We'll see if it will be again.
It's going to be Corbett, and it's going to be Yancey.
Okay. So JJ gets a little break. That's one of the things over the years I've been very impressed with the Bears. They had about 2 or 3 guys that could always go back there. They had Knox, they had Manning, they had Hester, obviously. And I didn't feel like there was a significant drop-off. I mean, obviously, you have to probably consider Hester the best ever. But Manning was very capable of going back there. Knox made the Pro Bowl as a rookie, as a kick returner. So the ability to substitute guys back there and keep people fresh is huge for Coach Savona.
Definitely. And here's the kick. A really nice kick downfield. It'll be Yancey who will return it. He'll start, gets a few blocks, he'll get past some Porter defenders, but it'll be stopped at the 30-yard line.
So right up the middle to the 30. Got to be careful there. A little bit of a ball safety in the middle of the field will go a long way. Thought perhaps for a second there that he had left it exposed, but able to hang on to it. But generally, when you go through the middle like that, you want to be just a little bit more cognizant of people ripping in there and trying to get a hold of it.
Well, Robertson's back out along with Yancey for the receiving corps.
boy, if Winkler wanted to, he probably could have gone up there with a quick snap. The Lockport defense was not set, and Robertson was all alone at the near sideline with nobody on him.
Well, it's just one of those times where run a play, and there's receivers out there. But hey, it's all right. We're winning 24-7. Let's capitalize on the next one.
That was made by Jimmy Giordano and Sam Sarkovic.
Now shotgun again. 4 wide receivers. 2 to Winkler's left and 2 his right. Winkler drops back to pass, having pressure, trying to find somebody. He finds, I think that's Yancey, for a few
Winkler
yards.
Sprinting towards his own sideline, throws back towards the middle of the field, finds Yancey for a short gain. Yancey did a nice job of holding on to the ball because Winkler actually kind of led him into some traffic there. Yancey hangs on, picks up about 6, so that'll make this a more manageable 3rd and 2.
3rd and 2, expect to see a running play.
Double wing formation.
You just have
Blitz
to
is
be
coming.
smart.
And look, oh man, I don't know if that was Anders, but his helmet was knocked off.
Well, that's the second time we've seen somebody lose a helmet
Yeah.
today. The first time it was a Griffin defender. That time it was Anders. Boy, he got lit up. There have been 3 hits in this game that are probably bigger than anything I've seen in the last season of East football. And some we've delivered, others have been, delivered upon us, but just some big hits tonight. The score doesn't necessarily reflect how much passion is, involved in this game. I mean, you look at it 24/7, and you think, Lincoln Way East is running away with it, but Lockport's still out there hidden.
Yeah, and 2 of the hits have been Anders has taken 2 of those hard hits.
Yeah, well, he's gonna be sore tomorrow, but he's popped back up each time, so give him a lot of credit for that.
Well, now another Lockport player is down.
Yeah, and that's obviously away from the ball. So while Anders is getting his bell rung, something's happening on the far sideline to a Lockport player. So a lot of big hits going on down there tonight. Those traders have been busy.
Lockport player is up, walking at his own power, and will resume with 2:14 to go in the 3rd quarter. Double wing formation once again. Clock running. Winkler will hand it off to Corbett. Corbett breaks a tackle, breaks another one, and finally is brought down around the 45.
40 territory. The 46-yard line.
Well, that